What's up, shoppers? What's up, investors? Jose Martinez here with another video. This is a very helpful one. I hope you like it. I've been working on this for almost a week, so I can give you the best information on the things that I've found. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day. Today is Tuesday, or if you're watching this on a Sunday, hope you're having a great Sunday. And just to give you like a quick context on these things that I will talk about in the video, it all started with this conversation with a support member in Texas like a month ago, maybe less than a month. I was in Texas last month in July. Now in August, I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. So it all started with a conversation with this support member, because I was at a Costco like this. You can see there was high demand and I was getting no batches. Like I'm pretty sure most of you have been like on this situation. And so I reach support. You know, you expect that they will always tell you, oh yeah, it's a slow day, or there's a lot more shoppers, or slow demand. So it started with that, and in that conversation she says something interesting that I never thought about, and it was a strong internet connection. And I was like, okay, I have 5G. There's nothing faster than 5G, as we all know. And I was like, okay, I should be pretty good. So what I did, started doing these speed tests. If you go to Google and then you type speed my internet or internet speed test, and then you will see these. You start running. Right now the Wi-Fi at home really sucks, anyway, but you will see this. So I started doing this speed test like in everywhere I was driving, to see where the best spot to get batches. And there were some spots that I got like up to more than 400 megabytes per second. And I remember one time driving, I was doing the test and I got up to 600 megabytes per second. And I was like, okay, well, that's pretty fast. But you see, like here, there's some areas, and like in the last video that I posted, where the internet speed is very slow, and I'm gonna explain you why this is important, and it made a lot of sense to me. So since then, I've been trying 3 different services. I have T-Mobile in my phone. I bought Wi-Fi for my car with AT&T, and the other thing that I'm testing is this hotspot from Verizon. As you can see, it's like a device that it will give you Wi-Fi wherever you go. This is Velcro, so I use it to stick in my car. And I was expecting like trying 3 different services: T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, and which one would give me the best results. I was planning on changing my service, but so far bad. I don't know if it's the area where I am, but the Wi-Fi on my car is very slow, the AT&T one, and they say it is only 4G, so the maximum speed that I get with the Wi-Fi in my car is like 20 megabytes per second. And with T-Mobile, with 5G, I get up to 600 megabytes per second, like I said, in some areas, but there is also some areas that I get just very slow, like 5 megabytes per second, 10 megabytes per second. So now let's try the speed with this 5G hotspot from Verizon. As you can see, I'm connected to that already, and let's see how it goes. And as you can see, it's still pretty slow. I'm not really convinced with this. There are some areas that I get like 150, sometimes 200 with this Verizon device, but I'm really just gonna take it back to a store and stop paying a lot of money for this. This is the kind of things that people use for RVs, or if you can connect up to 50 devices on this thing, supposedly. I don't know if it's that good, but I was expecting higher speeds. So yeah, I'm still testing more things. The last thing that I want to do is get a new phone, because I hate getting new phones, because then you have to transfer all your information and download all the apps, and then signing in each one, and I just don't like that process. But that's something that I'm considering right now, to see when the 5G network evolves. Also, phones evolve to process that higher speed, and I see now there's a Snapdragon X65 modem processor for phones that is probably going to be on the iPhone 13, and that phone modem is supposed to reach speeds to up to 10 gigabytes per second, which is insane just to think about. And I know the 5G network, in theory, you can get up to 20 gigabytes download per second, which is also insane, but you have to have a device capable of doing all that, and the phone that I got right now is one of the first phones that came out with 5G, so I'm pretty sure the technology in 1 year already has evolved enough to get phones with different processors and modems to process more download speed as the 5G network increases. If you're still watching, thank you. I know all was very technical stuff, and I'm gonna explain now why all this is important. And like I said, it started with that conversation with the person, and then so I started measuring speeds everywhere, and I have a Costco like 3 miles from here. So I was measuring the speed in Costco, and that was very slow, like 5 megabytes per second, 10 in some areas in the parking lot. So that's when I started researching for hotspots, and then I got the Wi-Fi for my car, because that person told me that we needed a strong internet connection. I was like, okay, 5G, well, it says 5G, but I'm not getting the 5G speed. So, and then there was a Wednesday, and I was trying to sleep and I couldn't sleep. It was like 2 a.m. and I was just thinking, why? And then I remember, sometimes when you contact support and they always ask you for, is there any reported issues? And I was like, no, there is never issues. If there was even one issue, the app won't connect and it's not gonna load, and I'm not gonna be able to contact you. Anyway, I see. So I have sent these screenshots so many times, and I remember these item images. And I was at that night. It was like 2 a.m. and I remember this, and I was like, okay. So now everything made sense, and I was like, let me look on my data usage, and you see today is August 10. And this is the data usage for this month already. But if you go here to cellular data use, you see Shopper is using a lot of the data. So be careful and make sure you have a good data plan, because it's using a lot more than YouTube. I use YouTube a lot because I listen to the news there, and I listen to podcasts and some other YouTubers that I like to watch. So I use a lot of YouTube. But you see, the Shopper is more than double of the data that YouTube is using. So I started thinking, okay, of course we see the pictures of the items when we're gonna shop stuff, and it started making sense. There is a batch here, we click it, and then we see all these little pictures. Those are separate from the actual pictures that show when we're shopping, and we see the bigger picture. So it's like kinda being downloaded twice, the mini and the actual picture. So there you go. Something I forgot to mention on the video is you see all the data that I've been using for the Instacart Shopper app, and then you see on top Google, it was like 20 something gigabytes in just 10 days. Be careful, because that is all the speed tests that I've been doing with my phone data. So be careful. Don't be like me. Don't make that mistake, like testing your internet speed all day, every day, in every spot. So yeah, just be careful, because that's gonna make you finish all your gigabytes in your plan very quick. As you see, I did just like 20 something in just 10 days. So just be careful there. So what I did, and this is important, and look at this. So if I take those 7.77 gigabytes, and today is August 10, if I divide it by all the batches that I've done from August 1st to today, so you see in August 1st, I did 6 batches, okay? And then the next week, I did 29, which says 35 batches. And this week, I've done 10, so that's 45. So if we divide 7.77 times 1,000, that will give you megabytes. And we divide it by 45, which is the batches that I've done from August 1st to today. That gives you 172 megabytes per batch. And I know I'm oversimplifying these numbers because all the data is not just for the batches, but the app is constantly updating, and every time you scan an item, it updates. And every time you also scan a wrong item, it updates and sends you another picture of the item that you found that was incorrect. And it's like a back and forth, downloading information. So I know I'm oversimplifying these numbers, and all the data that you see you have used on Instacart is not only batches. I want to make this very clear, but it's just going to give you as an example of how heavy the batches that we see on the feed is. Not that we don't see the batches, it's probably our phone is not downloading them quick enough for us to see them and then accept them. And let me show you why. So we have, let's just put it on 150 just to make the math easier. So if one batch is 150 megabytes heavy, and our internet speed is 10 megabytes per second, so we divide that, and if a batch is 150 megabytes heavy and our connection is downloaded at 10 megabytes per second, we're gonna see that batch after 15 seconds of downloading, okay? But if your internet is faster and you get like 300, which is the I would say decent speed for 5G in some areas, you will see that batch in just 0.5 seconds. You see the difference? If you went just from 15 seconds. And if you have a 300 megabyte speed download, you will see the batch in 0.5 seconds. So my thesis and all this that I think about is, okay, so someone with a higher internet speed will see, of course, the batch faster. And then after I was thinking that night of these, I reached out customer support the next day, and that's what she told me. So that kind of confirms that, and you see the difference. So like we already see, there's a that's how the algorithm works, the priorities, high internet speed, closer to the store, and then the ratings and all the metrics and all that stuff. So if you're a 5-star shopper and you have 0 cancellation rate and the market is good, let's assume the market is good and there's orders, there's demand from the customers, and you have 5 stars, you have very good reviews, and all your speed is pretty nice and stuff like that, and you have everything in good shape, but you are downloading at 10 megabytes and the other shopper that is there also waiting for a batch is downloading at 300 megabytes per second, then of course he's gonna win, because the batch is gonna show on his phone, it's gonna be downloaded to his phone or her phone in 0.5 seconds. And you know how quick it is for us to swipe on a batch. It probably takes less than 1 second. So by the time that it was supposed to show in your phone is gone, because your internet speed was so slow that you couldn't get it. So even if your is let's say 100 megabytes per second, is gonna take 1.5 seconds for you to download it. But if there's another one downloaded at 500 megabytes per second, it's gonna show in 0.3 seconds. So that's like a more like a fair comparison So if you have a 100 megabyte speed download and the other person has a 500 download speed, 0.3 second, he's 1.2 seconds ahead of you. So the badge is gonna show on his phone first because he downloaded everything first, faster. All the pictures, all the information of the customers, all the notes, all the replacement he wants, everything. And by the time it shows on your phone, of course it's gone because it takes less than 1 second for us to grab a badge sometimes. So that's my thesis. I hope everything makes sense for you. What I want to leave you with is my recommendations. The first one is if you're like on a family plan, sometimes the data is very limited. The plan that I have with T-Mobile gives me 50 gigabytes every month with the higher speed, and supposedly after 50 gigabytes the speed goes down if the network is very saturated. But if you're like on a family plan, I know the data is very limited, and you can probably just have 20 gigabytes or 25 gigabytes of high speed, and after that the speed will drop. So I really don't want to recommend none of you to spend a lot of money. Of course, don't get this. I really like this. If you travel and you have like an RV and stuff like that, you probably can get one of these, but I think it's expensive for me. It's $90 a month, the service with Verizon for this thing. So I'm just gonna use it this month and I'll take it back to the store next month. I didn't like it. I already canceled the Wi-Fi for my car. It didn't work the way that I wanted. But for sure, a phone capable to use the 5G network would be ideal. But again, I don't want you to spend a lot of money on any phone. I'm sure there is cheap phones with 5G, but again, this is up to you. This is just the research that I've done. This is what makes sense to me. I don't want you to spend like tons of money in a new phone or nothing like that. Probably if you can afford this and upgrade to a better plan and maybe get all the data for you instead of being on a group with more people, look and ask for a plan for you with the high speed data. This is going to be very complicated to get to a conclusion because in every city, every phone service is either AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon or Cricket or whatever you have. It's going to be different in every city. So what I can advise here is that you go on each website, AT&T.com, and look for, or just Google AT&T coverage map, Verizon coverage map, or T-Mobile coverage map, and you will see in your area what company has a better coverage, and make a decision from there if it fits for you. If not, then don't. Even here in big cities like Atlanta or Dallas, there is different coverage in different parts of the city, so it's very complicated to have like a consistent feed on the data. But yeah, there is that. I hope it makes sense for you. If you have more questions, just leave a comment. I'll reply all of them. If you comment something, I always reply to the comments, so check your notifications here, and so you can see when I reply to one of your comments. And yeah, so I hope everything made sense. I know it's a long video and it's a very technical stuff, but it really made sense to me. I hope it makes sense for you. I hope it helps you get better results. Last thing, I want to ask you to subscribe if you haven't yet, and to like the video. That's the best way to say thank you for me, and can't wait to see you in the next video. Ciao.